Welcome to Lesson 3 of the Living World online course. Before we start, have a go at the recap questions from the previous lessons. If you haven't watched Lesson 1 and 2 of this online course, click on the links now before watching Lesson 3. So let's go through some of the answers. Food chain is a linear sequence showing how consumers eat producers and other consumers within an ecosystem. A food web is a number of food chains that show all the links between producers and consumers within an ecosystem. There are 3 types of consumers: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Today's lesson is all about nutrient cycles. And the learning objective is to understand how nutrients are recycled within an ecosystem. So, let's get started. Firstly, what is a nutrient? A nutrient is defined as a substance that provides nourishment essential for the maintenance of life and for growth. So what is the nutrient cycle? Well, it's defined as the circulation of nutrients between the living and non-living components of the ecosystem. Nutrients may enter, exit, and recycle within the ecosystem. So firstly, how is it that they enter the ecosystem? They often enter via 2 ways. Firstly, through rainfall, or secondly, the weathering of rock beneath the soil often can release nutrients into the soil above, thus enters the ecosystem. Once in the soil, the nutrients will transfer into biomass. The plants will take the nutrients from the soil, and then the animals may eat the plants and also eat each other. As animals die and leaves fall from the trees, the nutrients are now transferred from biomass into litter. The dead litter will now lie on the surface, as the decomposers will then break them down. As they do this, the nutrients will end up back in the soil, and the process repeats all over again. So now we know how they enter the ecosystem. Now we know how they recycle through the ecosystem. How can nutrients exit the ecosystem? Well, it's 2 ways. Dead litter on the surface carrying the nutrients may end up in the rivers through the process of surface runoff. Any nutrients that make it back into the soil may also end up in the rivers due to soil leaching. Either way, the nutrients may end up in the water cycle, which can lead to re-entry of the ecosystem through rainfall, and the process may repeat again. Now, before we go any further, let's stop, pause and recap what we have learned so far with a mini quiz. Answer the questions, pause the video, and when you're ready for the answers, click resume. So how does the nutrient cycle look in an exam question? Well, they often give you a figure and ask a question something like, explain why the diagram shown in figure 9 is an example of nature's recycling system. 6 marks. Well, to answer this, you need to understand how it's assessed, and your answer is assessed on meeting two objectives. The first one is understanding. This is the ability to explain and show understanding of the nutrient cycle. This may involve saying how or why something is happening within that nutrient cycle. The second objective is application of knowledge. This is the ability to apply what is shown in the figure to your own understanding. This can involve regular references to figure 9 and the key words that are shown in there. When you have met these objectives, the assessor will then make a judgment on how well you've answered these. Looking at the mark scheme, your answer may be basic and touch lightly upon both objectives, which will likely get it 1 to 2 marks max. Your answer may meet the objectives a bit clearly and maybe achieve 3 to 4 marks. The better answers will make a detailed approach to meet both objectives, and they will achieve 5 to 6 marks. So let's take a look at a model answer. Figure 9 shows that the rocks release nutrients into the soil. Nutrients are then transferred to biomass as the plants uptake and animals eat the plants. As they die, they become litter on soil, which decomposes and break down litter, and nutrients go back into the soil. Now this answer is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But we don't want an okay answer. We want a great answer. We want to be getting those detailed 5 to 6 marks. So let's see how we can make this okay answer into a great one. Firstly, instead of saying rocks release nutrients to the soil, we could introduce the process of weathering of the bedrock into our answer. Secondly, instead of just mentioning how plants and consumers take up the nutrients, we could add how those nutrients move between the different producers and consumers. Thirdly, we can use figure 9 to make the explicit reference to the transfer of nutrients from biomass to litter. Finally, we could also add how nutrients may exit the ecosystem. Now you know what a good answer looks like. I want you to have a go for yourself. Pause it, check back once you've looked, look at the mark scheme, see how you get on. Now, thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, like and subscribe, and look out for lesson 4 of the course.